was on the Knicks before anybody was on the Knicks, before it was cool to be on the Knicks, and I'm sure he feels good about them finishing with the 2 seed. Let's bring in our good friend Kendrick Perkins of ESPN. Kendrick, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How you doing?
Fellas, what's going on? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. All right, so
Happy Monday.
Do you believe, like we were talking earlier, I'm glad that they tried to win the game and they won the game, but by winning the game, Kendrick, they get the number 2 seed, which means that they're playing either the Sixers or the Heat. Would it have been better for them to finish third and play the Pacers?
No, they're fine. I mean, look, this Knicks team is not ducking any smoke. And at some point, you know, if you're trying to get to the promised land or trying to get deep into the playoffs, you're going to have to play top-level competition. Or iron sharpens iron. That's what my grandpa used to always tell me. But when I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, Joel Embiid is not 100%, right? Like, he has 0 dunks since returning from injury. A lot of his points, about 30% of them are coming from the mid-range of jump shots. He's playing below the basket. You know, Tyrese Maxey, obviously, he's an all-NBA player this year. But, you know, again, it's going to switch up for him as well. He's going to have to make adjustments in this game because, you know, the playoffs, the playbook get a little thicker. When I look at the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler looks exhausted. I don't know if he's playing, you know, I don't know if he's you know, playing, you know, the game of, you know, just trying to psych everybody out, but I don't see the same energy in the Miami Heat. Like, and I don't think the Knicks care. It's all about the New York Knicks and the way that they're playing basketball right now. You see with Dante, you see with Bronson, you see with Josh Hart, the continuity that is there, the chemistry is there. The rest is following. McBride, he's balling out of control. Isaiah Hartenstein, I think when you look at him, one of the most underrated bigs in the game today. Not afraid of embarrassment. Contest at the rim. Float in the lane. High IQ basketball player for his decision-making, especially when, you know, he's involved with the pick-and-roll action and Jalen Brunson is getting blitzed. And then OG Anunoby, to me, is arguably the best defender in the league when it comes down to being able to guard 1 through 5. So when I look at those other 2 teams, and the 76ers and the Miami Heat, I got the Knicks winning either one of those series in 6.
Will they miss Randle?
I think they'll miss Randle when they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because in order to get past the Boston Celtics, I strongly believe that you need as much offensive firepower as you possibly could get. And obviously not having Randle there, a guy that you could rely on to get you 20 points per night that would cause a matchup problem for the Boston Celtics because the way he likes to punish people on the inside, I believe that it will. But I still strongly believe this. Even without Randle, I still believe that the New York Knicks could push the Boston Celtics to 7 games. And we all know what could happen in 7 games. I mean, I've been a fan of Jalen Brunson since he was in Dallas. And when I saw him do what he did at a high level in Dallas when they made a Western Conference Finals run, and then the Knicks went out and got him in the offseason, and everyone was trying to downplay it like, oh, they could have went after Kevin Durant. I'm like, y'all haven't been watching basketball. Because if you've been watching basketball, this young man is unguardable when it comes down to being a game manager and a game changer. So, you know, when I think about Julius Randle, I just think about when the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals, if they stay healthy. Against the Celtics, you need as much offensive firepower as you possibly can get in order to beat that team.
Kendrick, how do you feel about the notion, though? I'm getting it from, I'm a Celtics fan, so I deserve it, but a lot of Knicks fans coming at me with, we want the Celtics. We want smoke with the Celtics. If you're a Knicks fan, are you hoping to get the Celtics? Do you like that matchup?
Well, I mean, you don't have no choice. I mean, because the Celtics are going to be there, right? Like, they're going to be there. I mean, not unless, you know, they have just a bad moment and, and have one of those moments like they did last postseason. But, I mean, let's be real. The Celtics, they have the best starting 5 in the Eastern Conference. I'm not going to say in basketball because I still believe that's the Denver Nuggets. But they're going to be there. So eventually, the Knicks are going to have to face the Boston Celtics, and that's going to be the real test.
All right, so I know it's unfair to ask you to speak for other people, but you've believed in the Knicks for a while. We have seen what they've done. But then guys like Barkley and Shaq, they kind of like dismiss the Knicks. They're going to get knocked out in the first round. What are they seeing that you're not seeing, that we're not seeing? Why are they down on them?
Because it's obviously they don't watch basketball.
I love it.
I'm serious. They can't watch basketball on a consistent basis. The only time that they actually probably watch the Knicks are when they're covering the Knicks on their game night. So if you're watching the New York Knicks, there's nowhere in hell that you could just downplay the way that they've been playing the game of basketball. If you're watching the New York Knicks, there's nowhere in hell that you could downplay that Jalen Brunson has been the best player in the Eastern Conference. If you're watching the Knicks, there's no way that you could downplay that Josh Hart has been one of the best rebounding guards in the league outside of Luka Doncic. Like, if you don't watch the Knicks on a consistent basis, then you don't know. I just watched the New York Knicks come off a West Coast road trip, did phenomenal on that trip. I believe went there and got a win against Sacramento. Went and got a win, I believe, was it against the Golden State Warriors,
Yep.
I believe it was. Yep. And then you come back home and you get a signature win against the Celtics. And it's like, okay, like, oh, well, the Celtics, they were just teeing up and getting ready for the postseason. No, they actually played everybody. And the New York Knicks made them tap out. It's a difference. So, I mean, guys that are downplaying what this Knicks coaching and Tom Thibodeau is all about, they haven't been watching them. And that's another thing. When it comes to Tibbs, when it comes to preparation, I don't know. It's not one other coach that I played for that has that type of preparation, the way that prepares the way Tom Thibodeau does.
Now, he's always knocked, though, Kendrick, for, he didn't win with the Bulls, and I say, well, if their best player didn't get hurt, they probably do win a championship. He didn't win with the Timberwolves. He made them a lot better. He took over a terrible team. What is the big knock on Thibodeau, though, when it comes to the playoffs?
Well, just think about where he's been at, right? Like, when Tibbs was in Chicago, he always had to face LeBron James.
Right.
LeBron James stopped a lot of people and a lot of coaches. Okay, when Tom Thibodeau was in Minnesota, Tom Thibodeau didn't have Anthony Edwards. See, I think people missed it. Like, people don't take in consideration who the players are at the time or what stopped certain coaches or players from, actually, reaching higher goals. When I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves situation, I've been saying this all year long. I'm watching Anthony Edwards bring something out of Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert that Jimmy Butler couldn't bring out of them. It's just he's the best young leader in the game. When it comes to guys under 25, he's the best young leader in the game of basketball, the way he carried himself, the way he defends on both ends of the floor. And so when you look at Tibbs, I always tell people to pay close attention to the little things when you watch the New York Knicks. Just watch how they all play post defense the same, meaning one hand on the back, taking the hit with the chest, poking at the ball with the other hand for when the guy's trying to crab dribble, how everybody's tied on the string, boxes and elbows. That's a Tom Thibodeau preparation. And just being honest with you, right, Doc Rivers was at his best when Tom Thibodeau was his assistant, right? Because Doc was able to take over the offense, and Tom Thibodeau was able to be the best version of himself, and that's being the best coach or best basketball mind on the defensive side of things.
So what would be their biggest concern if you're the Knicks?
I think, it's going to come down to this, right? Like, is Dante, Josh Hart, McBride, Bogdanovich, are they going to make shots consistently? Because it's going to be the playoff scheme is going to be trap Jalen Brunson. Okay, if you trap Jalen Brunson, he's going to make the right play. Now, when he does make the right play, Are those shooters going to be able to knock down shots? If they are, it's going to open things back up for Jalen Brunson. But I think the Knicks are prepared for that because they've been seeing this type of defense all since the All-Star break. You know, watching the Lakers game, the Lakers blitzed Jalen Brunson. So many teams blitzed him, and he still was able to get it done. But it came off to a slow start because he had to come off the rock and get others involved. So I think if guys continue to make shots at a high level, continue to do what they do best, and that's pound you on the glass and the inside, the Knicks are going to be just fine.
Who's coming out of the West, Kendrick?
I'm giving a slight edge to the Denver Nuggets, but it's not a large margin like everybody's trying to make it. Is Jokic the best player in the league? Yes. Is him and Jamal Murray the best duo in the league? Yeah. Do they have the best starting five in basketball? Yes. But I do have question marks. I do have concerns about their bench. Bruce Brown is gone. We know how valuable he was last year to their championship run. Jeff Green, he's gone. He was valuable. Can Reggie Jackson, Christian Braun, can they step up to the plate and be consistent enough throughout the postseason to be that spark or be that those players off the bench to give them what Bruce Brown and Jeff Green gave them last year? That I don't know. That could be determined. But when I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're right there. When I look at, the Dallas Mavericks, there's no pushover, especially for, once they got Gafford and P.J. Washington. And then the Clippers. I mean, if Kawhi comes back healthy, they might take the Mavs out. Then all of a sudden the Nuggets might, it's teams. The West is so good that the Lakers are in the play-in tournament, and they're like 11 games over 500. Like, they're a really good basketball team. They just in a great conference. So, I'm giving a slight edge to the Denver Nuggets, but I'm not just saying I wouldn't be surprised if somebody knocked them off.
Well, yeah, Perk, that was going to be my last question. Is there a chance the Warriors or Lakers could do something, or is the conference just too good?
Well, I think, you know what, so everybody, you see all this, nonsense that's being out there today. Oh, should the Lakers drop the game to the Pelicans to try to get the AC? One, you can't play with the basketball guards like that. You got to go win. Two, I actually would like the Lakers to win tomorrow night and get the 7th spot because guess what? They're going into that series with no pressure if they happen to face the Denver Nuggets. No pressure whatsoever. No one is going to expect them to win. And so LeBron James and Anthony Davis being the underdog with no pressure, that's scary for the Denver Nuggets. So you're going to have to face them at some point. If I had to pick out of the two, which one could actually get into the postseason and make the most noise, I would have to go with the Lakers over Golden State, solely because of LeBron and AD.
And finally, the team that's going to match up with Minnesota, who it sounds like you like, is Phoenix, because Minnesota losing to Phoenix yesterday, they match up. And Phoenix, I mean, with that talent being the 6th seed, do you think that they're dangerous?
They are. And that's the scary part. Minnesota and Phoenix are both dangerous. Both of them teams could actually go to the Western Conference Finals. Both of those teams could actually go to the NBA Finals. Both of those teams could. Just think about if you were to take those teams that are even if you look at outside of the top 3 in the West, and you put the rest of them, the teams that's in 4th, 5th, 6th, and in the play-in tournament, you put them in the Eastern Conference, they'll be right there in the playoffs. They only had 2 teams in the Eastern Conference that won 50 games. What they had 6, 5 in the West, and 2 with 48, 49. They're good. So it's just the West is going to be so interesting. The West should be when it comes down to postseason, I think this is going to be one of the greatest postseasons that we've had in a long time because of the matchups in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it should be fun. We can't wait. Kendrick, we thank you for coming on as always. Always great stuff.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much, man, and keep it going.
All right, that's Kendrick Perkins. So
he's good.
He's liked the Knicks for a while, Peter. It's not just all of a sudden. He's liked them from the beginning of the season. He came on and said they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. You remember?
Oh, do I? It aged It aged incredibly well. I mean, he sounded a little wacky almost, like he was too high on it. And remember, Kendrick's a guy, bulk of his career, talking about Oklahoma City and Boston. That's what he's known for. There's no reason for him to be a Knicks guy. There's no win there, except he just believed in the team. And obviously had a relationship from Tibbs from the time in Boston when they won the championship. But I think he just saw the vision, man. And this team is... It's hard to argue this team is anything but special. And by the way, we should probably get into it more later. I think Brunson as the legit MVP, that's also a real conversation.
I agree. I don't think he's going to win it, but he definitely should be at least
a top 3, Michael.
NBA all NBA team, at least team 2, at least. It's going to be hard for him to be the first team because probably Doncic. But it should be the second, but we'll see. Peter, you have some FanDuel to tell us about.
Oh,